Hi guys, my Vernon Keater coming to you again. How's everybody doing? Uh, Back again for, wow, this is the 99th, yeah, episode of my comic review. Hope everybody's well on their end. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate and thank uh, my good friend, Mr. Edward Crawford. As you guys know him as Blue Goblin. He had recently graduated from college, uh, and I'm very proud of him, very happy for him, and just wanted to get that out there, right there, and show some love for him. So we'll move right into the comics for this week. I definitely got a good stack for you guys, very good stack for you guys. So we're gonna kick it off in Marvel, and we'll end it in DC. So let's get right to it, shall we? Yeah. Okay. First off, we're gonna start with is Age of Ultron number. This is book number 8. Two more books to go. First of all, I gotta say that Age of Ultron has been moving along pretty steady. There hasn't been a lot of breaks. There hasn't been a lot of this. It's clear sailing really quick, and I'm liking that. So, and Bendis is still writing, and we got Brian Peterson on artwork, and a few other people, I believe. Oh no, Brandon Peterson is doing the whole artwork. Basically, in this, Sue and Logan Wolverine are pretty much getting interrogated by the Tony Stark in this book. And yeah, Tony looks totally different. We kind of see why he looks that different. There's a certain war that's going on in this book between Morgan Le Fay. There was an Asgardian war that Thor was killed in, supposedly. And they're just trying to figure. He's trying to figure out if they're really who they say are and everything like that. He's holding the grudge as well because Wolverine killed Hank Pym, who was actually a good friend of his. And of course, we get to see Emma Frost and Professor Xavier in this, and they seem to be. They're the ones that are telling, yeah, he's actually who he says he is. And even in this world, Emma is a bitch, fucking bitch. I can't stand Emma. And even then, there's still dissension in ranks. They can't really trust her. But Tony is looking at Sue and Logan as being that they're tricks by Morgan Le Fay. And yeah, Morgan Le Fay is in this book. She does come, and don't want to spoil too much, but that's pretty much the gist of Age of Ultron. This is book number 8. Sorry, guys. All right. So we move on to Avengers: Enemy Within number 1. This will be like a mini series that's going through Captain Marvel and a couple of the Avengers books. Kind of a story that's been going on lately. It still involves her with her condition. You know, she still can't fly and everything like that, or you know, her brain will explode or things like that. But would also get into the question of who's this enemy that's watching over her and who stole some things from her, and as well a friend of hers. Remember the elderly woman she would go meet up in the park? She was kidnapped, so that's pretty much the beginning of this is gist of that. We're her and Spider-Woman looking for her. We get to see in this book, very interesting, for one of them, which threw me for a loop in this book, because it's been a long time since I've seen them, was the Grapplers. The all-female wrestlers that turned supervillains. Dominatrix, Pound Cake, and I'm forgetting the other one. But this was the same group where Melissa Gold, aka Songbird, came from when she was called Screamin' Mimi. So it was really kind of cool to see that. But in the end, very good story in my date. Kelly Sue DeConnick tells a very good story. Does Carol find Rose, Grandma Rose? I won't spoil that for you, but I will tell you this much: the artwork in here by Hepburn, way better than what they're doing in the current Captain Marvel book. It wasn't the best, but it was more tolerable to read. And Spider-Woman in this was just really funny. Jessica was cracking jokes, like just it was all over the place. It was fun. All right, move on to Cable and XForce number 8. Still hopeless, and Salvador LaRocca. I love Salvador LaRocca's artwork. In this week, yeah, Cable and the gang are out in space. It was seen that they needed to break out an enemy, alien prisoner that was on the raft, deep underneath the raft, that the people of the raft didn't know about. He was put there by SWORD, you know, Agent Brand and all them. They kidnapped him. Unfortunately, it didn't go right, and the alien prisoner got the drop on kidnapped Domino, Forge, Dr. Nemesis, and you know, people like that. And Boom Boom, yeah, Boom Boom is here. Tabitha was really good. So, and now Agent Brand is after Cable but it's kind of a misunderstanding, but also premonition that, you know, Cable's been getting these premonitions of, and there's a reason why he took the alien from, and we find out why. He shows Agent Brand, Abigail Brand, what would have happened if he had stayed on Earth, and all the other alien races that are come looking for him, what would have happened to Earth. And it kind of was funny. It was kind of like, oh man, okay, so kind of Cable has his reasons, but also then it was also the point of basically showcasing that at the end, it was really funny what happened to Abigail Brand, which was really funny. I thought that was hilarious. But then she gives a notion, she calls a certain family member of Cable, and tells him, like, look, you better get your nephew in check and nail his ass to the wall. So yeah, it looks like once again Cable and his team are going to be going with the united faction of the Avengers, or the Uncanny Avengers. So yeah, but other than that, it was fine. Alright, so we move on to Gambit. Number 12. James Agnes, I applaud you, sir. You're still doing a fantastic job on this title, and Clayman's artwork, along with Dexter Soy and Leonard Clark. So look on the cover. That's Gambit getting choked out by Lonnie Lincoln, aka Tombstone. Yeah. This is I guess the final story arc between Gambit and his fellow thief, Jolie, that he's been helping out. Yeah, Rogue is in this, and she's just trying to make sure Gambit doesn't get into a lot of trouble, and try to figure out who Jolie really is. But it comes full circle in this, guys, because we find out that Tombstone stole something from an abandoned Hydra base, secret base, and what it can do is it's like a bio weapon, like it can, like, here, I'll show you a picture of it right here. Like, as you can see right here, it spills, and then look what happens to the area. Disintegrated. It's like it just literally disintegrates anything it touches. And it's a pretty decent, this was really action packed, pretty decent action packed, just showing you can't stop Tombstone. This guy just keeps coming. It was really funny. Just, I mean, there was even one point where Rogue is flying a helicopter, and she took the chopper propellers and hit Tombstone, when he got right back up like nothing ever happened. It was just like, that's how tough Tombstone is. I've never doubted how tough this guy is. I've always known he was tough like that. But it was still good. It ended kind of badly for Jolie. I'm not going to spoil what happened to her, but let's just say something did happen. And it also added badly for a friend of Gambit's as well. But it was still good nonetheless. So Gambit number 12. Alright. And this right here, Iron Man number 10. Once again, this is part 2 of the secret origin of Iron Man. Eagleham's artwork I love. I've always loved Dale Eagleham's artwork. But all this really is trying to explain that, I don't know where Gillian is going with this. Is trying to say that Tony's birth is almost not natural birth. There's almost also a little bit of alien background to it. And for that, once again, the only reason why I read this is because of my love for Tony Stark, Iron Man. And that, so when you see me, until this storyline is over, you won't really see me get really into it. It's just there. But I will say it was good to see Jimmy Woo. It was good to see Dum Dum Dugan and people like that. But other than that, it's like, whatever. Alright, so we move on to Ultimate Comics, All New Spider-Man. This is 23 Bendis. For all those who are wondering where's Sarah Pacelli, she'll be going on to Guardians of the Galaxy now. So I'm looking forward to seeing her artwork on there. So this is the Spider-Man No More. That cover has been used plenty of times. Classic cover, doesn't get old, never gets old. Hell, they even used it one time on a Green Hornet cover with Dynamite. So that just shows you how famous this cover is. So we get a time skip in this, a little bit time jump. This takes place 1 year later. So Miles is a little bit older. It seems that he's finally hooked up with the girl that has been eyeing him since they were in school together. What looks like the goth chick, what she's got like pink hair and black hair. We find out that's Katie Bishop. Yeah, Ultimate Katie Bishop. And it gets really dire. You know, Miles has not been Spider-Man for a year. He's still mourning the death of his mother, you know, and his father is just trying to make sure he's okay. He gets contacted by Jessica Drew, the ultimate Jessica Drew, you know, Spider-Man Peter's clone, and he's like, okay, she's like, it's time to go back to being Spider-Man. And, you know, Genki is just being Genki, you know, he's flipping out because he couldn't get a special edition of Legos. That was so funny to me. You know, him and his dad go out for takeout at a Chinese restaurant, and you know, Gwen's there, and she's like, you know, if you ever need to talk, you know, it's just being a good supporting character. And you know, Jessica Drew pretty much, you know, gives Miles a briefcase with a costume and a new set of web shooters with the SHIELD logo on it, and you know, he's like, I don't want that no more. And it gets to the point where even after later on, we get to see finally two very underrated characters that I love. The ultimate version of Cloak and Dagger, Taya and Tyrone. I love them. I've always loved Cloak and Dagger, so it was really good to see. I'll show you them right now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was loving that, just seeing Cloak and Dagger. So Cloak and Dagger makes their ultimate debut. It's great. This was good stuff. Very emotional. But now it's just the meaning of how Mr. Bendis is going to write how Miles returns back to being the ultimate version, universe of Spider-Man again. Because we all know he will, but you know. Alright, Wolverine and the X-Men, number 29, Aaron's Perez. Greetings from the Jean Grey School of Tomorrow. So this is kind of a jumping forth through time. In the beginning, we're in the present. Wolverine is giving a speech and talking about, you know, to the faculty and the students, and talk about we need to make a time capsule for the future of the school and everything like that. We jump into the future. We see Wolverine, very older. He got white hair. And other people in there. We get to see a lot of kids. I think we get to see, somebody related to Iceman being scolded by Sasquatch as his teacher. I was like, whoa, you know. But it's kind of jumping back and forth through time, and there's some things in there that I don't want to spoil. That kind of seems to be that's going to be playing up in the future of this book, so don't want to spoil that. But it's the ending that was like, oh No, 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 no. What? Why? But other than that, very good. Aaron's still doing a bang up job with this book. Salute. All right, and we end Marvel with XFactor 256. All right, this is the finale of War on Hell. Peter David. I don't want to spoil anything in this book. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Just pick it up. If you're an XFactor fan, pick it up. If you're a Peter David fan, pick it up. If you've been keeping up with XFactor, pick it up. Continue to pick it up to the end of this series. Yes, Peter David is leaving the series. They're canceling it, and I'm glad they are. This was his baby. There's only, if it was me doing Marvel, there's only one man I can think that could take the reins of this book, and that's Mr. Claremont, Mr. Chris Claremont. But unfortunately, that's just me. What do I know? I'm just a fan, right? But don't want to spoil anything about the book. The cover really is kind of eerie, but let's just say some shit goes down in this book that just threw you for a loop. Cliffhanger off the whizzy, and you just was like, Mr. David, what are you doing? Like, why? Just really? There were some deaths in that book, people. I'm not even gonna lie about that. Might throw you for a loop. So that's it. That's all Marvel. Marvel down. We go to independent. We'll kick it off, and none other than Sonic Universe number. This is 52. This is part 5 of 12 of the Worlds Collide, the Sonic and Mega Man crossover. So, without spoiling too much for you guys, the two awesome heroes, the two Blue Bombers, have come together to go back to Sonic's world to save Dr. Light. Dr. Light was kidnapped by Bass and Metal Sonic, and they go back. Proto Man, Tails, Sonic, and Rush. They go back, and the whole world's been altered. Sonic's world's been altered, and this one was really action-packed. A lot of action going on. We got Mega Man fighting a copy Mega Man, Sonic fighting this, Proto Man fighting this. You know, there's a lot of robot masters in here. Good stuff, guys. And even to the point, yes, I'll spoil this. Dr. Wily and Dr. Out of respect, Dr. Robotnik, not Eggman. I will agree with Gavi. I don't really like the name Eggman. Robotnik sounds better. But they pretty much have basically gotten the final Chaos Emerald. So it's like, dun dun dun, uh-oh. And basically, going through, man. Get up. Stop. Get up. Sorry, guys. That's my brother. Basically, in a sense, it's not looking good for the gang after a while. When they look like they've beaten everybody, I'll show you what happened. Look at all of Sonic's friends. They become robot masters, so that's what they got to deal with now. So far, so good. I mean, this has been such a really, really, really good crossover. I've been loving it. Mr. Ian Flynn, you know, big ups to you. All right, so we move on to Dynamite. I have a lot of Dynamite for you guys. That's one of my favorite independent companies. So we are going to kick it off. Jesus Christ. We're going to kick it off with Bionic Man. I like that cover. Beautiful cover. Bionic Man number 20. this is the outcome of Steve Austin's time in his mission that was in the Middle East. And Aaron Gillespie and Ray Villegas, I hope I'm saying your name right, sir, basically does the artwork. His artwork was really good in this. Steve he needs to stop a missile from going off because the dictator of the country that he was in fired a missile. And this just shows you how strong and powerful the Bionic Man really is. And it's a race against time to stop this missile because it's fired, it's in the air. Steve needs to get to it. He's pushing his abilities to the limit now, and before this missile heads overseas to attack America. And that's pretty much the whole gist of this. But also in the meantime, does he succeed? I'm not going to spoil it. But also in the meantime, we have somebody who used to work for the OSI, the organization that Steve Austin works for, is plotting against him. And that's what's coming next. But other than that, very good read. Good writing from Mr. Gillespie, I hope I'm saying your name right, and Mr. Villegas, who does the artwork. Very, very good stuff. Bionic Man number 20, very good. If you feel like you want to, if you're trying to get on board on this, I would wait to get some of the trades or find them. Like I always say, find them if you can, because they're up to 20 issues already, and you know, it's moving along pretty well. I would try to find a jumping on point for the book. So we move on to Green Hornet, Mark Waid's Green Hornet, number 2. This is the Jonathan Lowe's cover. I love that cover. Jonathan Lowe is another great artist. Very good stuff he does. And in this issue, guys, Mark Waid does the writing, and Daniel Idro does the artwork. So Britt is still, he's kind of pushing it now, and in terms of making sure that the criminal underworld understand that the Green Hornet is the bad guy, even though we all know Green Hornet's not the bad guy. He poses as the bad guys. They pose as the bad guys to get close to the bad guys so they can get criminal evidence to bring him in. And he uses his newspaper as a means of doing it. But Kato is starting to see that he's pushing a boundary in terms of it. He's pushing it. And Kato is like, you know, looking at him like, you know, Britt, you're pushing it now. And Kato is to the point he's not really liking where a lot of this direction is going for with Britt, and it's kind of scaring him, because this is a guy as a partner, his partner and everything, and they've had this partnership for a long time, and you don't want to see a partnership crumble because maybe you're getting in too deep, you're changing and things like that. So this issue really plays that up, and Mark Waid does it brilliantly and so good that you just look at Mark Waid's writing, and once again, what I've always said, people, about Mark Waid, Magic Waid, he just continues to spray that gold all over it, and it just becomes magic. Good thing this is only into 2 issues, so it's really not too long for anybody to jump on board on this. And yeah, good stuff. And we move on to Green Hornet Legacy. This is 36. This is this tale of Britt Reed Jr.'s son. This is Britt Reed Jr. Britt Reed's from the original Green Hornet. This is his son, who's taken over the title. This was the book that Kevin Smith started. So we have Jay Nix and Jeffro Morales does the artwork. So in this issue, it's kind of calmed down now. Britt Reed Jr. is really kind of soaking over the outcome of the past couple of issues. Him coming back, him having to stop a former ally that kind of took his mantle a little too far in terms of the Green Hornet 2.0 when he made that iron-like suit and started pushing the boundary of justice and just all-around killing. He's still mourning what he feels is the death of the Katos, the original Kato, and his daughter Mulan. And it's a blizzard is about to hit Century City, and he's doing what he can, giving out free blankets and shoes to the homeless and everything like that. In the meanwhile, a doctor, because Britt likes to go to the morgue just to make sure if he can find Mulan or somebody like that. In the meantime, it looks like there's a doctor bringing corpses back to life. So we're getting a little zombie-ish in this, and that's pretty much what's leading up to it. And it's a day of mourning, pretty much. Britt, it's just really kind of bad for Britt Reed Jr. in this, but still good storytelling. Green Hornet Legacy, very good, and love it. All right, Lord of the Jungle 15. Love that cover of Tarzan. Look at him. I love that. I always love the back shot covers. You know, and people look, you know, they're looking over their shoulder. I love that. So Avid Nelson still doing the writing, and Wagner Reyes does the artwork in this. So in this issue, Tarzan has stopped Ivanovich Nikolai Rokov. He's about to take him back to justice with some of the Waziri tribe men, and they're about to leave Opar, pretty much the city of gold. And Queen La comes in and says, Tarzan, before you leave, I need to talk to you. And she goes on to tell him, like, there's this creature that we call the White Mist that's been killing people in Opar, and you know, it seems that he was scared of Rokov's guns, but now that Rokov's gone, he's gone back killing people. And Tarzan is like, I'm not gonna do it, you know, I'm leaving. And kind of was like a little bit unlike Tarzan, you know, usually Tarzan would help. And so after a while, Tarzan can't get it out of his head, and Jane says, you know what, go back, see what's going on. When they go back, Queen La is killed. I'm gonna spoil that, she's died. And some of the other civilians of Opar blame Tarzan, like, you could have stopped this. So Tarzan is like, oh, all right, the hunt is on. And we get to see the White Mist, and I'll show you what he looks like. Let me get a good look. There we go. Here's a good look at him. He's a big four-armed white gorilla, and Tarzan does a lot of that. This is where it gets really action-packed. I'm talking just brutal stuff. Tarzan rips both of the eyes out of this guy. He stabbed him, like, he literally stabs him and pulls his eyes out. I'll even show it to you. Look at it right there. He just popped his eyes right out. And look at this spread right here. Like, bam, just pops it out. You can literally see his eye on the knife. He's able to save the day. You know, stop the gorilla. He falls into a ravine and bashes his head at the smashing rocks at the bottom. And Tarzan, you know, does what he does. And this is where it gets interesting, because now I'm gonna tell you a little bit what Dynamite is gonna do later on. They tell some history about Opar, is that a lot of its history, Opar, comes from a red planet, and that's where the creature really comes from. Red planet, Mars. And so later on, Dynamite is going to do a Tarzan and John Carter crossover called Lord of Mars or Jungle of Mars, something like that, later on. So this is kind of giving us a tidbit of what's to come next. So yeah, Lord of Jungle 15, good stuff. All right, Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt 9. Okay, Stephen Darnell and Alex Ross still do the writing, co-write this, and Jonathan Lau, like I said, does the artwork. His artwork is beautiful in this. Pretty much Peter's life has been turned upside down. People know about the secrets, his secrets, everything. And there is Princess Amosmith right here. I'll show you her. That woman right there, the Indian Egyptian look, who has come back to life and wants to take over everybody. She's able to mentally go mano a mano with Peter Cannon in this. And it's looking dire for Peter, in a sense. And people are now starting to realize that he is hiding a lot of secrets. Now, does Peter able to stop Princess Amosmith? Yeah, he does. But he's not out of the woods yet. And with only, I think, only one more issue left before this miniseries comes to an end, I wonder how it's going to end. Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt, number 9. The Shadow, number 13. Let's see who's doing the artwork in this. The artwork is done by Giovanni Tepano. Hope I'm saying your name right too, sir. And Chris Robinson does the writing in this. Chris Robinson is the writer on the Mask story arc, as the Star miniseries as well. And in this issue, there is a serial killer going around killing people. She's dressed up in white. That's all people ever see of her. And it's almost like she's some kind of falling, avenging angel in a sense. But she's decked out in white and she just goes around killing some certain people. And it's up to the Shadow to figure out what's going on. Who is this woman? And we get to see, once again, Chris Robinson following the flow of the last issue, where we get to see the Shadow's network of helpers that keep him informed on what's going on. All his people, and you see them on the phone saying, I need to get in touch with the boss. You know, tell him this. And, you know, it's good, just classic stuff, classic Shadow writing, you know, just, I just can't get enough of it. You know, it's just like good stuff. I'm a huge Shadow fan, people. You should know that by now. And I've been loving it. Does the Shadow get to see the person that he's looking for? Yes, he does. And it ends right there. But I'm not going to spoil too much for you. I won't show you what the person looks like, but it is a female. And I do have my suspicions of who this killer might be, because there's somebody in the book that I was looking at as a suspect, using my detective skills as best I can. But Shadow number 13, just good stuff. And we end Dynamite with Voltron number 12. Brandon Thomas, been loving it. And the writing is done by Stephen Harris. And a lot is changing for the Voltron Force, pretty much. Hunk is leaving the group. He's leaving Voltron Force because he's going to be a father. Supposedly Sven was killed. And Keith is really, he's just really in a turmoil of things. He doesn't know where to go with what's going to happen. You know, he's trying to figure out, you know, how can we go on without just four members instead of 5? You know, a lot of things are just happening in this issue that just starts to really showcase, like, wow, Keith being a leader, he's got a lot to deal with. He's got a lot of shit on his plate. And, you know, it also showcases, you know, like, what are you going to do, Keith? It's like the ball now is in your court. So it kind of looks like Keith is looking for new candidates to be pilots for Voltron. And also the Galaxy Alliance is really now pushing to make more Voltron units to help out because of the incident that happened last couple issues. There was the original Voltron team, and then there was another Voltron unit that came out of the woodwork and started attacking attacks against the Galaxy Alliance, even attacked Lotor, you know, King Zarkon's son, and everything like that. But it's the cliffhanger at the end that really was like, oh snap, where's this gonna go? So yeah, Brandon Thomas still does a good job with Voltron. Good stuff. You know me, guys. I'm a child of the 80s. Love me some Voltron. We move on to IDW. G.I. Joe Special Missions. Number 3. Chuck Dixon. That man knows G.I. Joe very well. Alright, so the team, Special Missions squad, led by Mainframe and Scarlet, are still looking for the Baroness. They tried to get to a secret stash of money that Cobra has underwater, but Baroness got to it first. And when they bring it out of the water, Baroness brings it out of the water, it breaks open, and the ship, the cargo people that are, you know, bringing it in, see what's inside of it. Billions of dollars, and now they want to cut. And the Baroness is like, you're getting what you were promised, and that's it. So there's kind of a mutiny against that. However, Scarlet and Mainframe is still deep underwater in a lot of the tankers that the ship that sunk by Cobra. And unfortunately, they're in a tanker, and you know, I'm gonna show this to you. And Scarlet and them are still underwater, and they're like, you know, she even says it, you know, she's like, you know, they're underwater, and she's like, did you feel something shifting below us? Like, and this is like, I don't think we're alone. And all of a sudden, yeah, great white shark comes right out of the water. And this is so fun. Look at Scarlet. Look at what Scarlet does. She punches the shark, and punches it again. And Mainframe is like, wow, girl. And she's like, sharks are sensitive, has sensitive noses, snouts. And the shark just leaves like that. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, it was like, go, you know, go Scarlet. You know, you gotta love her. And, you know, basically, other than that, Serpentor is still looking for the Baroness as well, and everything like that. So it gets really in depth from there, and it's still a means of trying to get to the Baroness. They're still trying to get to the Baroness, and it looks like they might have done it, and it looks like Serpentor has gotten to her first before the Joe's Special Missions group has, and it looks like there's going to be a battle on the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean from the next issue. But yeah, so far so good. I've been liking the series so far, and Chuck Dixon once again. So you know what you're doing with G.I. Joe. Good stuff. All right, and so we move on to Valiant, and we'll kick it off with Robert Venditti and Carl Nord, Carly, or yeah, I hope I'm saying his name. Carrie Nord, Exo Man of War. This is issue number 13. This is still continuing the Planet Death story arc, where, you know, Alric has taken the fight to the Vine itself and traveled to the Vine's home planet, Planet Loom. And in this issue, he's still recovering from his battle. The Vine have taken the sacred, you know, Exo Man armor, but they can't activate it because it's now in tune with Alric. And Alric's starting to realize that the slaves that are on the human slaves that the Vine have captured may be ancestors of his own, the Visigoths, that's their name. And there are other members of the Vine that are not against him. They are with him because of his ability to basically wield and the Exo Man armor. So they're with him. And There's a pretty decent battle here, especially with Alric. I love the scene where the armor comes back on him, and he just starts taking out people, and he realizes that, look, I'm gonna, even if I have to take out everybody on this planet, I will, to protect the slaves that the Vine have captured, and so on and so forth. So we kind of see this in this, and it's just really good storytelling from Robert Venditti, and this is good stuff, because this is, now that I know his writing and I know what he can accomplish. Now him just taking over Green Lantern makes me even more like he can do it. He can do it. This is just really good space Odyssey storytelling, good stuff. I love it. Excellent Man Award, good stuff. Try to find the first couple of issues in trade. You won't be disappointed. Same thing with this one, Bloodshot, number 11. Dwayne Straczynski and Barry Kitson does the artwork. There's still a tie into the Harbinger Wars that's going on, and this is all about Bloodshot just trying to protect members of the kids that were also a member of Project Rising Sun, and they have all these mystic, like psychic powers and things like that. And he has to deal with the powerful, this powerful psychic who is the founder of Project Rising Sun, Mr. Tony Harada. And Harada is very powerful, and Bloodshot just keeps coming. Every time Harada just knocks him down, looks like he kills him, but remember, you can't really kill Bloodshot because his nanos will heal him up really fast, and he just gets back up and comes back at you. And there's even one point where it was almost to the point where I was reading it, and I was like just looking at Bloodshot like, yo, Bloodshot, form a new tactic, dude, or tactical retreat, come on, don't be stupid. And it was really interesting, and what happens in some of these issues was really just very gruesome. But do Bloodshot and the rest of his allies and the kids get away? Yes, I will admit that. And they're heading towards Las Vegas. I'll spoil that for you. But Bloodshot number 11, Dwayne Straczynski still does a very good job on this title. Good stuff. Alright, still with me? Alright, we're going to end this in DC. Alright. Batgirl, number 20. It's Gail Simone. My lady. You know me. I'm a big fanboy. I'll follow you to the end of the earth with your writing. And we have Sapir does the artwork. Alright. Then the ventriloquist, she gives a voice to death. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it looks like we got a new ventriloquist in town. And oh so different from the original. We get to see a little story of this new ventriloquist, and that she's always been looked at as being a freak, ugly, things like that. And she kinda is scary. And her doll, her mannequin or dummy is even scarier. And it's up to Barbara. She's still dealing with the outcomes of the last issue as well, which I'm not going to spoil what goes on in there. But it's the ventriloquist in this that really sells it. Like, this woman is crazy. And her dummy is more than meets the eye. And it's really, really scary. Just to think what this thing can do and what she is capable of doing. And yeah, very scary. And of course, it's the ending that really kind of just like, with Commissioner Gordon, I'm not going to spoil anything of what he says about Batgirl. and it does not look good at all. But very good storytelling by Miss Gail Simone. Scary stuff with this new ventriloquist. I'm not even joking. I'm dead serious about this, guys. Freaky stuff. Scary, freaky. Oh my god. As for Batwoman number 20, J.H. Williams III still does a good job writing in this. I don't really want to spoil this either. Without spoiling too much, really, a certain someone that that Batwoman thought was dead is not, and it also comes that the people that she's working for, you know, they still want to know who Batman is, and they want her to do it, and she's kind of like, I'm not gonna do it, blah blah blah. And it gets to the point where her whole family now is involved in this, and they're like, we know that you're working with, basically saying we know that you're working for the DEO, and we know that they want Batman and everything like that. And Kate's like, and you want to help me, and she's like, they're like, yeah. So it's kind of in that point, like now, and it's even to the point where I love where I'm forgetting her lover's name, but she works for the Gotham PD. I love how she pretty much lays it down on the line for Kate, and she just says like, damn it, Kate, you act as if he's the only, you're the only, the rest of the family are the only liars in the room, or you're like the only one who is allowed to suffer. I love how she says, but that all ends now. She's like, you're going to climb down off your your cross, and you're going to let us help you, or you're going to pack up and move your crap and get out of and it's just like Kate's like, okay, let's get to work. So it kind of looks like the whole Kane family, including Kate's lover, are going to try to find out who, get Batman's identity. And that's going to be interesting. But also, if anything, if we all know Batman, we all know he's going to kind of either be a step ahead of the DEO or do something to help Kate get that certain person out of the DEO's clutches. And as for Birds of Prey number 20, Christy Marks and Romano Monal, cold as ice. It's cold as ice. Yes. Look who's on the. Yeah. Starling looks like is working for Mr. Freeze, and it looks like she has betrayed the team, and poor Dinah just feels so betrayed, so pissed off. She's angry, she's upset, she's angry, she's kind of sad, but it's all around very much anger towards her. And she's looking at Starling like, how can you do this? How can you betray us? Everything like that. And Starling seems to have her reasons, but they're not hearing it. They're not trying to hear it, And there's a pretty decent fight scene between her and Batgirl. Now, you got to remember, Strix is still frozen in ice by Mr. Freeze, and, Dinah is buying Batgirl some time to get her out. And then there's a fight between Starling and Batgirl, and even Starling's like, I always want to see what you're like when you're not cutting loose, when you're not holding back. And yeah, Barbara don't hold back. She's like, you know what, I'm okay, traitor, and everything like that. It gets really bad, and I like Starling too, and I really wish it wasn't this way, but yeah, it's looking bad for the group, and very, very, very bad for the group. And Mr. Freeze is still out there. He's still out there, and Dinah gets really so pissed. She even canary cries at Starling. That was just like, oh, like she just screams down. Like Starling is running down the hall, and Dinah just like and just screams at her. Like I'll show you right here. Like she just literally screams at her. Like, and unfortunately she even knows I went too far with that. And you know, Condor is like, good thing there's another way out, or we'd been trapped in here. So, as for, you know, Barbara melting Strix out, and they go on to try to find, while Condor and Black Canary go to find Starling, they are met by Calvin Rose, aka Talon. So it ends right there. But yeah, good stuff. But yeah, why Starling? You gotta tell me why, girl, why? Masters of the Universe issue 2. Keith Giffen, Pope Mahan. Oh, this was good. I don't want to spoil this, guys. This is another book I don't want to spoil, but let's just say is that a lot of things in this book kind of, for example, King Randor knows that He-Man is his son. I'm like, whoa, that's new. You know, there was only supposed to be 3 people that shared the secret. But in this, it was kind of interesting to see that. But it was good to read once again. But I don't want to spoil what goes on in this book, guys. Just pick it up if you like it. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, good stuff. Very good stuff. Don't want to spoil it. And we move on to Nightwing number 20. Dick is still in. Keith Higgins still writes. Is still doing the writing. Brent Booth is doing the artwork. I don't mind Brent Booth's artwork. It's just that he draws Dick Grayson really young, and it suits more for the Titans book than for Dick Grayson. But Dick is still in Chicago looking for Tony Zuko. Tony Zuko is still alive, the man who killed his parents, and he's out trying to find him. Now in Chicago, vigilantes have been outlawed, and they will be shot on sight if the cops found them. But the prankster is still around, dishing out his own means of justice or whatever. And Dick has a pretty decent, spoils one of the prankster's like traps, and then prankster seems to be very computer savvy, to the point where he's able to interact with a lot of tech that Nightwing has. Like, unfortunately, he was able to mess with, in his mask, he has like computers in there, and he was able to blind him. It was like, oh shoot, that was really crazy. And unfortunately, Prankster's really no match for Dick in a hand-to-hand combat fight, but he was able to trick Dick and get him where he needs to be, and it kind of ended like, oh, there we go. You know, he trapped Nightwing, and it's kind of sad in a sense, but it was good for the most part, and it just makes you wonder, will Dick ever catch Tony Zuko? And we'll end this, guys, on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman number 20. Brian Azzarello still does the writing, and Goran Sudzuka, I hope I'm saying it right, along with Cliff Chang. They both tackle artwork in this. Basically, it's still going on about the gods of Olympus still trying to, they want to kill Zola's baby, Zeke, the last child that bastard child of Zeus. Yeah, you know how Zeus, he likes to put it to anybody. He's the you know, the biggest player ever. And Apollo, this is Apollo. I'll show you what Apollo looks like. This, the purple like dude right here. Apollo sends Artemis to either kill little Zeke. However, Wonder Woman comes in and there's a big fight between her and Artemis all over London. And you know, Apollo and Dio and Poseidon are watching the fight. And Apollo is just, it was just crazy how this was action packed, because you got Wonder Woman and Artemis just fighting each other, and after a while Wonder Woman just gets the complete upper hand on a god. Gets there on Artemis, like seriously, to the point where she just makes Artemis look like a fool at one point. Like knocks the crap out, just knocks her out. She just, and it was only because of Ares that comes to stop it, because it looked like Wonder Woman was gonna kill her. Like she was gonna either try to kill Artemis, but now it's a race against time to keep little Zeke here alive. And good storytelling to me. I've been loving what Brian Azzarello has been doing with Wonder Woman and her quest to keep pretty much her little brother alive, because you know that's Wonder Woman in this is the daughter of Zeus now, and she's still an Amazon, but still the daughter of Zeus. And yeah, good stuff. Okay, all right, so that is it, guys, for this week. I hope you enjoyed this as well, and I hope you guys tell me what you picked up as well. Picked up next week. And I'm hearing voices, and pretty much, guys, but also I wanted to give you notion on what's happening for next week's episode, which will be my 100th episode, and the time and the place and what's everything going to come down to. All right, so next week will be my 100th episode for my comic reviews. I'm very happy, very proud to have gotten to 100, and it's going to be live. It's going to be live. So, and it will be Saturday. It will be on a Saturday, and it'll be this Saturday, and it will be, I'm doing it 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time, my time. So if you're on the West Coast, that'll be 6 o'clock. If you're Central, that'll be 7, things like that. But yeah, that's when the live review is going to be going up for my 100th episode. As well, what else is involved in it? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to review the books that came out that week. Review a book, and then I'm going to take time to answer your questions. You can give me 4 questions that are comic related, basically. So keep the questions comic related. If it's related to comics, fine. If it's a comic question related to a comic book movie, or game or anything like that, keep it in that comic range. Don't give me anything, so what do you think of, yeah, just think of a regular movie or something like that, something that I do on my regular Q&A. No, keep it, and I'll answer, and you can ask me 4. That's your, because I want to get to answer everybody's questions as much as I can, and so I'm going to do that. That's how it's going to go. So it'll be 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday. for my live 100th episode, guys. And I hope to see you guys there. See whoever going to show up and watch and answer questions. And if you can't make it for the live, then just watch the encore. You know, but I hope to see some people there. And I just want to thank all you guys for you know, liking what I do. And even if there's books that you don't read and I inform you on what's going on in those books, good, great. But I want to thank all 400 plus subscribers that I have on this channel. Thank you very much. This is my Burning Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real, guys. I'll see you guys next week for that 100th episode. You guys take care.